The ring of the doorbell disrupted the tranquility of my silent apartment, dragging me from the soft light of the TV. It was 11 p.m. Who could possibly be visiting at this hour? With reluctance, I extricated myself from the couch, my heart thumping with a mix of trepidation and curiosity. Upon opening the door, I found Hannah standing there, her complexion pallid and eyes rimmed red. For an instant, time stood still. It had been 2 years since we last met, yet just seeing her triggered a torrent of memories, both positive and negative. A hollow feeling gnawed my stomach, reminding me of the night that had transformed everything. "What do you require?" My voice was icier than intended, as the burden of our past loomed over me. She hesitated before entering, her demeanor displaying an uneasy amalgamation of regret and resolve. "I need to speak," she said, her voice quivering. I shut the door behind her, the closure like a final verdict. Sitting on the couch's edge, my mind drifted back to the disastrous night in question. The evening began ordinarily. I returned home after a taxing day at work, eager to relax. However, there she was, attired suggestively, a sight that sparked a surge of rage within me. "Hannah, where are you headed?" I asked, my voice filled with tension as I surveyed her outfit. "To a party with Ethan," she responded, barely glancing up from her phone. "Ethan, a name I've grown to detest. You're aware of my feelings towards him." "This isn't just an outing, Hannah," she scoffed, disregarding my apprehensions. "It's merely a party." "You're overreacting." My heart pounded, a mixture of betrayal and despair coursing through me. "If you depart tonight, don't return. This is your last chance." Yet she left anyway, an act that felt like a stab to the heart. The phone rang later that night, piercing through my troubled thoughts. It was Mila, Hannah's closest friend. "Hey, David," she taunted, her sinister laughter reverberating down the line. "Seems like Hannah's with a genuine guy tonight," she goaded, causing a sick feeling to well up in my stomach. "Where is she?" I asked urgently. "Pay attention," she said, allowing me to hear the sounds of a party in the distance. As I listened, Hannah's voice, intermingled with laughter and moans, filled my ears, drowning me in confusion and fury. Unable to bear it any longer, I grabbed a bag, emptied our joint accounts, quit my job, and drove off into the night, leaving everything behind. As I drove away, the headlights slicing through the darkness, I could feel the weight of my decision settle upon me. I thought of all the dreams we had cherished, the plans that disintegrated before my eyes. But as the miles stretched out, a strange sense of liberation washed over me, tainted by the bitterness of betrayal. 2 years on, I believed I had buried that night, buried the pain and the memories. Discovered a new sanctuary in Eagle's Nest, Colorado, amidst towering mountains and crisp air. I believed myself liberated, but her spectral presence haunted the recesses of my mind. All of a sudden, she reappeared in my life, rapping on my door. I was stunned, enraged, and bewildered. "How did you track me down?" I demanded, maintaining composure. "Private investigator," she responded, her voice serious. "I've been searching for you for months. Could you just listen to my account?" Tears glistened in her eyes as she narrated her tale, recalling Mila's party, the drugging, and the loss of control. "I believed I was with you," she whispered, voice cracking. "I didn't want any part of it. I never intended to cause you harm." A pang of empathy surged, but it swiftly gave way to the simmering resentment within me. "Do you think that excuses your actions? You chose to attend that party. You disregarded everything we shared, Hannah." With a motion to speak, she hesitated, and I interjected, silencing her. "You abandoned me. You chose others over our relationship. Now, I'm unsure of who you truly are." The air between us was heavy with unsaid words and memories. Hannah lowered her gaze, her hands nervously fidgeting in her lap. I observed the quiver in them, the struggle against her own remorse. However, despite my desire for compassion, the ember of anger remained unquenched. "David," she began hesitantly. "I was fearful. I didn't know how to proceed." "Fearful," I repeated, disbelieving. "You believe that excuse excuses your behavior. You placed yourself in such a position despite my warnings." Her eyes met mine, filled with supplication. I thought I was making a decision for myself. I believed I could enjoy some freedom without it impacting us. Didn't expect things to end up this way, did you? Perhaps you hadn't considered the repercussions of your decisions. You abandoned me that night, Hannah. You departed without a thought for our relationship. Your shoulders slumped, as if your words were weighing you down. I understand my mistake, but I was unaware. Mila had always said it was just a party, and I believed her. The doubt and regret flickered in her eyes then, along with memories of our quarrels, her defiance, the dismissive way she brushed off my worries. That night you left felt like a sentence for our marriage. I couldn't shake the image of you walking away, the door clicking shut, reverberating in my mind like a mournful melody. Following your departure, Mila called me. She mockingly confirmed your association with Ethan, making it clear that you had opted for them over me. I overheard your laughter, enjoying yourself while I sat isolated, pondering over my perceived mistakes. Hannah winced as if my words were a tangible pain. That wasn't my intention, David. I never aimed to hurt you. But you did. You allowed it to happen. You neglected the relationship we cultivated for a night of uninhibited fun. You made your decision. The air between us grew dense with our unsolved feelings, the tension thickening the environment. Inside me, a tempest was stirring, a blend of resentment and sorrow, but I stood my ground. This confrontation was never desired, yet now that it's occurring, I can't retreat. Have you ever experienced betrayal from someone you cherish? I inquired, my tone soft but determined. To have your entire life turned upside down by a choice you didn't anticipate? Hannah's eyes shimmered with tears, and she prepared to respond, but I interrupted. Don't say anything that won't alter the past. You left. You'd picked that path. She hadn't foreseen what was coming, she protested. She hadn't anticipated being drugged. She hadn't fathomed being exploited. Her voice faltered, and her eyes bore a palpable despair. David, I was deceived. Mila took advantage of me, and I didn't recognize it until it was too late. The revelation stung. Yes, it was tragic, but it doesn't undo the past. Don't you think I don't sympathize with you? I do. But your decisions led to this situation. I can't find it in me to forgive you for what you did to us. The air grew heavy with tension, and I felt Hannah's inner conflict ebb. She was engulfed in her own sorrow, a stark contrast to the resolute woman who had entered my life mere moments prior. I sued Mila and Ethan, she whispered, her voice quivering. I won the lawsuit. It provided me with a means to find you. I presumed. I presumed if I could merely clarify everything, perhaps we could start anew. Her words landed like leaden weights. You believe a lawsuit can heal the wound, that it can restore what was lost. It doesn't function that way, Hannah. A tear traced its path down her cheek, and she hastily brushed it away, as if erasing proof of her sorrow. I yearn to correct this. I want to demonstrate my remorse. Apologies aren't enough, I retorted, the bitterness permeating my tone. It doesn't alter the fact that you destroyed my trust, that you opted to abandon our marriage for a fleeting moment of diversion. I observed her grapple with the weight of my words, and for the first instance, I saw the full depth of her remorse. It wasn't sufficient to sway me, but it ignited something within, a glimmer of the love I once held for her. Hannah, you need to grasp this, I continued, my voice more tender yet unyielding. Leaving me was what fractured us, she admitted, her voice trembling. The heft of your words hung palpably between us. David, I implore you, don't walk away from me again. I've evolved. I wish to improve. Yet, as she spoke, a sense of finality settled within me. There was no return. The damage was too extensive, the trust too badly broken. The remnants of what we were is now just a haunting remembrance. I doubt it, I murmured, touched by a strange blend of melancholy and resolve. You departed, and now it's our turn to confront the fallout. As Hannah's entreaties reverberated through the room, the air grew dense with unspoken feelings. Her eyes glimmered with desperation, a blend of regret and longing that cut through the tension like a knife. At that moment, Beverly appeared, her composure shattered, pausing as she absorbed the tableau before her. Hannah pleaded, her tone growing intense. David, you don't grasp the situation. I was tricked, I confessed. I believed we were together. None of this was my intention, I added. Beverly glanced between us, sensing the heavy atmosphere. What's happening? She asked, her voice steady but filled with worry. Hannah is asking me to reconsider our past, I explained, my heart pounding. But I can't erase what happened. You don't have the whole picture, Hannah insisted, approaching us. David, please, she urged. I've been through a living hell since that night. I didn't realize they would exploit me. I thought I was secure. I thought we were together. Your decisions brought you here, Hannah, I retorted, my voice rising. You abandoned me. You chose that path over our union. I can't just sweep it under the rug. The room hummed with tension, the air charged. Beside me, Beverly felt uneasy, her grip tightening on my hand as Hannah's pleas turned to anger. Hannah tearfully admitted, I was unaware, as she struggled to come to terms with the trap she'd unwittingly fallen into with Mila. Surprised and skeptical, I retorted, Mila, you knew the risks when you attended that party. Beverly interjected, her protective nature evident, Hannah, you can't alter the past. Hannah pleaded, I've changed, and I want to improve. I had harbored hopes. We could rebuild our relationship. But Beverly firmly stated, David has established a new life for himself, implying that Hannah couldn't simply return and pick up where they left off due to the pain she caused. Hannah's face contorted with a mix of anger and sadness as she insisted, I didn't intentionally bring this upon myself. You can't possibly understand the trauma I've endured. My heart softened slightly, sensing her desperation, as a glimmer of understanding for her struggle emerged. But it swiftly became overshadowed by the harsh recollections of treachery. I can't forgive that, I said, my voice unwavering, yet a tempest raged within me. You opted to depart, and you must grasp the magnitude of your action. The atmosphere thickened with tension, and for a brief moment we all fell silent, the weight of our shared past looming heavily over us. In that tense silence, I sensed the fracture between us, the chasm created by decisions made and paths taken. It was an abyss that couldn't be bridged, no matter how ardently Hannah yearned for it. As her tears flowed freely, I remained steadfast, my heart burdened but resolute. It's time to release Hannah. We both need to progress. With those words, I witnessed the fading of hope from her eyes, replaced by the stark truth of our damaged relationship. The confrontation reached its zenith, and the bitter reality was exposed before us. The path to reconciliation was shut, leaving us in its wake, forever altered by the decisions we had taken. Hannah's exit created a heavy hush, a marked contrast to the tumultuous feelings that previously inhabited the space. I leaned against the now shut door, my heart pounding as I grappled with the moment. I had long dreaded this encounter, but now it was past. I felt an odd blend of emptiness and relief. David, Beverly whispered, moving nearer to me. Are you all right? She inquired. I nodded, though the pain in my chest persisted. It's hard to accept that it's truly over. Though I believed I could cope, seeing her again resurrected the past. Beverly took my hand, her grasp comforting and firm. You did cope, she acknowledged. That requires courage. Her words resonated with me, yet the ghosts of the past remained large. I merely wished things had transpired differently. I never wanted our marriage to end in such a manner. Beverly whispered softly, I understand, but you cannot alter the past. You only have control over what lies ahead. We fell into a peaceful silence, yet my thoughts were consumed by recollections of joyful moments. I contemplated our shared laughter, our plans, now merely whispers of a life that had slipped from my grasp. The following days blurred together. I attempted to find solace in work and other activities, but Hannah's image persistently invaded my thoughts. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw the sorrow etched on her face, the tears streaming down as she departed. It was a symbol of the profound betrayal, yet also a testament to the love that had once thrived. One evening, as I sat on the couch with Beverly, the weight of my past seemed to enshroud me like dense fog. She sensed my unease and leaned against me, her head resting upon my shoulder. Are you all right? She asked. Pondering everything, I responded. About Hannah and what might have been. You cannot bear that load, Beverly declared decisively. You've endured enough hardship. It's time to let go. I could hear the weight in your words as they echoed within me. I understand. I simply wish to break free from its grasp. I yearn for progress. Let's help each other, she suggested, rising to face me. Together, we can make new experiences, start anew. You don't have to tackle this on your own. Her unwavering compassion bolstered my resolve, and I acknowledged my readiness for the future. Days stretched into weeks, and gradually, memories of Hannah dimmed. I discovered joy in simple moments, laughing with Beverly, trekking through Colorado's breathtaking landscapes, envisioning our shared dreams. I felt the bonds of my past lessening, the hold of regret slipping away. Then, one day, as we prepared for a hike, my phone buzzed with an alert. It was a message from Hannah. My heart pounded as I read it, uncertain of what awaited me. David, I merely wanted to express gratitude. I know I made mistakes, and I don't ask for forgiveness. I wanted to inform you that I too am embarking on a fresh start. Wishing you joy. Farewell. Upon reading this, various feelings surged within me: sadness, liberation, and a hint of resolution. Upon discussing it with Beverly, she gently squeezed my hand. This is promising, she said. It shows she's prepared to advance, just like you. I acknowledged her words, feeling a burden lessened from me. Indeed, it feels like a permanent farewell. As days rolled by, I found myself increasingly focused on the promise of what lies ahead. I delved deeper into my life with Beverly, appreciating the allure of our surroundings and nurturing our bond. We laughed, confided in each other, and made memories that felt authentic and pure. One night under the starlit sky, Beverly spoke to me. "You've made tremendous progress, David. I'm proud of you." "Thank you," I replied, returning her smile. "I wouldn't have managed without your support." "Let's continue our journey together," she suggested. "No more dwelling on the past." I agreed, feeling a wave of tranquility sweep over me. Fully releasing the past, I stood ready, gazing at the endless sea of stars. A wave of gratitude washed over me, knowing I had confronted my inner demons and vanquished the haunting echoes of yesteryears. My heart, now open to fresh opportunities, resonated with a profound sense of freedom for the first time in eons. Enveloped by the tender love and warmth of someone sincere, I realized that this was the dawning of a remarkable chapter, a life free from the shackles of deceit and brimming with the essence of hope. The chilly morning breeze permeated the apartment as I cooked breakfast, the aroma of fresh coffee harmonizing with the fragrance of sautéed eggs. Beverly bustled around the kitchen, her melodious humming contagious. Today felt like an ordinary Saturday, yet beneath the surface stirred a palpable excitement that had me beaming as I flipped the eggs. "Are you prepared for our hike today?" Beverly inquired, her gaze brimming with enthusiasm. "The weather is ideal, and I've brought along a picnic for us." "Indeed," I responded, pouring 2 cups of coffee. "I'm thrilled about it. It's been some time since we had a day solely for ourselves." As our breakfast concluded, a tranquil feeling settled upon me. The remnants of Hannah were fading, replaced by the camaraderie and warmth I experienced with Beverly. This was the start of a fresh chapter in my life, and I was now prepared to immerse myself fully in it. Following our preparations, we ventured into the Colorado sunlight, the mountains standing grandly afar. The air was pure, vibrant with the sounds of nature, leaves rustling, distant bird calls, and the soft gravel crunch beneath our feet as we followed the trail. "This location is awe-inspiring," Beverly remarked, her eyes reflecting amazement. "I can't fathom why we haven't delved deeper here." "I concur," I replied, feeling a swell of gratitude for this new phase in my life. "The scenery is stunning out here. It's wonderful to be sharing this experience with you." As we ventured further into the wilderness, our laughter bounced off the trees, reinforcing our connection with each stride. Upon reaching a clearing, we halted, taking in the awe-inspiring landscape of mountains and valleys, bathed in the sun's radiant light. Beverly pointed out this spot as an ideal location for our picnic, unfurling the blanket she had brought along. We sat down, exchanging sandwiches, fruit, and stories, absorbed in each other's presence. As I sat there, my mind drifted back to the journey that led me to this moment. I recalled the hurt of betrayal, the encounters with ghosts from my past, but also the lessons learned about trust, love, and resilience. Now, I was prepared for a future brimming with opportunity. David, Beverly interrupted my musings. I have something I'd like to discuss. My heart fluttered. What's this about? She inhaled deeply, her countenance serious yet radiant. I wish for us to continue constructing our life together. You hold immense significance to me, and I can envision a future with you. A torrent of feelings, hope, exhilaration, and profound bonding swept over me. I concur, Beverly. You've assisted me in mending in ways I hadn't thought achievable. Her eyes gleamed joyfully. Then let's make a vow to one another. No more dwelling on the past, only progressing forward. I nodded, my heart swelling with gratitude. I'm prepared. Let's construct a life that's ours, devoid of the ghosts of yesteryears. As we gathered our picnic items and set off to return, I felt a buoyancy in my stride. The burden of remorse and sorrow had been replaced by the prospect of a fresh start. I was no longer the man plagued by his past, but one who reclaimed his life, eager to welcome the future with open arms. That night, as we settled on the couch, I turned to Beverly, a smile spreading across my face. I appreciate your understanding throughout. She casually shrugged, her eyes sparkling playfully. It's worthwhile. You're worth it. In that instant, I recognized the progress I had made. I faced my past and stepped out of it, prepared to seize whatever life offered. I felt complete once more, free from the grip of betrayal's pain. As we lounged on the couch, watching the sunset cast vivid colors across the sky, I knew I was right where I belonged. With Beverly by my side, I was ready to pen the next chapter of my life, a story brimming with love, merriment, and liberty to advance. For the first time in a while, I felt an indescribable tranquility wash over me. The past receded, giving way to a future teeming with hope and potential. The ensuing weeks unfurled like a captivating dream. Each day brought us closer, constructing a life replete with shared memories and laughter. In our travels through the mountains, sampling new eateries, and relaxing peaceful evenings at home with each other, we found contentment. However, remnants of my past still lingered like spectral whispers in the corners of my mind amidst this joy. One sun-dappled day, as we ambled through a neighborhood park, I spotted someone vaguely familiar from afar. My heart sunk when I recognized Hannah, solitary on a bench with a pensive expression. A tsunami of feelings surged within me, confusion, sadness, and a flicker of anger. Beverly, who also noticed Hannah, tenderly asked, "Shall we go say hello?" Sensing my uncertainty, I was torn between confronting the past and safeguarding the life constructed with Beverly. I suppose I should. I felt it was my due to face her one last time. Beverly consented, her countenance expressive of support. "Go ahead, take your time." I moved towards the bench, pulse quickening. Hannah stared at me as I arrived, her eyes enlarging with shock. "David," she murmured hesitantly. "Hi, Hannah," I responded, keeping my voice even. "May I join you?" She signaled for me to sit, her face showing a blend of nervousness and optimism. "I didn't anticipate your presence here." "Nice weather," I commented, feigning a smile. "How have you been?" Pondering, she confessed, gazing at her hands. "It's been tough since the events transpired." I nodded, understanding the gravity of her statement. "I can understand. I've been progressing, but it's taken quite some time." Hannah lifted her gaze, tears glistening in her eyes. "I'm genuinely sorry for everything, David. I know I can't undo what occurred, but I've been making efforts to better myself. I simply wanted to express my remorse properly." The sincerity in her tone resonated with me, yet the hurt from the past persisted. "I acknowledge your apology, Hannah. You need to grasp that your decisions significantly altered everything, something I can't easily dismiss." She acknowledged this, her voice trembling as she spoke. "I don't seek forgiveness," she added, "only for you to comprehend my efforts at self-improvement. I no longer wish to dwell in the past and its repercussions." In that moment, her sincerity touched me gently, stirring a brief sensation of empathy. "You're embarking on your own path now, and I sincerely hope you find tranquility," she continued. "However, I have progressed. I can't revert to our past." She wiped away a tear as she replied, expressing that she often thought of me. I wish I could undo it all, she lamented about the course our relationship took. The remnants of our shared past loomed heavily between us, echoing the love that was once vibrant but has since turned to dust. It was a magnificent chapter, I whispered. Yet, even beautiful things disintegrate. She agreed, her countenance somber, mirroring my sentiment. If only we could redo everything. Indeed, I conceded, sensing the finality of our discussion taking hold. Yet, it's time for us to release our grip. You must find your own way forward. Hannah sighed deeply, resignation replacing determination in her gaze. I suppose this is farewell then. You will always matter to me, David. And you mean just as much to me, I responded, my heart heavy with the weight of our shared history. But it's time for us to grow apart. As I prepared to depart, a wave of resolution washed over me. The past no longer shackled me. It had become part of my narrative, a lesson-filled episode. Thank you for listening, Hannah murmured softly. I hope you find the joy and contentment you deserve. The same wish goes for you, I answered, offering her a brief nod before heading towards Beverly, who had been observing from afar. As I neared her, she smiled, and I could discern her worry in her eyes. What transpired? I responded, feeling significantly lighter than I had in years. We've both moved forward, and that's acceptable. Beverly squeezed my hand affectionately. I'm proud of you. You confronted your past bravely. As we strolled away from the park, the sense of resolution settled comfortably on my shoulders. I had confronted Hannah for the last time, enabling us both to step into a future unencumbered by the spectral remnants of our shared history. In that instant, I understood that I was prepared to wholeheartedly embrace the life I'd constructed with Beverly. Together, we would generate new experiences, ventures, and a love that flourished in the light, unfettered by the darkness of deceit. And as we walked hand in hand towards our future, I felt a tranquility I hadn't experienced in a while, a farewell to the past, and a welcoming embrace for the life that awaited us. The days morphed into weeks, and the resplendent autumn colors started to color the world around us with golden tones. Daily, I experienced a revitalized motivation and happiness. Beverly and I delved deeper into our relationship, reinforcing the connection born from my past struggles. One twilight, as the sun withdrew, illuminating the scenery with a comforting radiance, I contemplated the distance I've traversed. Perched on our humble apartment porch, I marveled at the scene of leaves swaying in the breeze, feeling an overwhelming sense of appreciation for my current life. Beverly approached, taking her place beside me. "What are your thoughts?" she inquired, her voice gentle and inviting. "Merely how unique life has become," I responded, glancing at her. "I once felt burdened by everything that unfolded. It seems as if a veil has been lifted." She grinned, her eyes twinkling in the dwindling light. "I'm pleased to see you feeling this way. You richly deserve happiness, David." "Thank you for being with me," I conveyed, honesty resonating in my voice. "I believe our connection played a crucial role in helping me transition forward." Beverly gripped my hand, entwining our fingers instead. "What truly counts is that we're united in this journey." As the days passed, we started outlining future aspirations. We discussed venturing to unexplored territories, uncovering the world side by side, and perhaps establishing a family eventually. Each dialogue strengthened our bond, fostering the affection growing between us. One weekend, we opted for a journey to the mountains, where we could trek, camp, and appreciate nature's grandeur. While preparing our campsite, an air of exhilaration was evident. "I can hardly wait to gaze at the stars tonight," Beverly expressed, her eyes sparkling with eagerness. "The night sky here is rumored to be spectacular." "You're in for a treat," I said, sharing my excitement. "There's a magical charm in escaping city lights and immersing oneself in nature." After a day filled with hiking and merriment, we gathered around the crackling fire, our faces aglow with its light. We exchanged stories, roasted marshmallows, and cherished each other's companionship, the fire's warmth echoing the warmth in our hearts. As stars started to twinkle overhead, a wave of contentment swept through me. Moments like these made me truly appreciate the potency of fresh starts. I had confronted the shadows of my past, and now I was wholly engrossed in the brightness of my future. Beverly leaned against me, her head resting on my shoulder. "David, I'm so thankful for this moment," she murmured. "For us." "I concur," I responded, gazing at the sprawling expanse of stars overhead. "This feels like precisely where I belong." In that instant, I recognized how much I had evolved. The remnants of my past lingered, yet they no longer dictated my identity. Instead of molding me into someone indistinct, they fashioned me to value love's elegance, trust, and opportunities for renewal. As the evening grew more profound, Beverly gently distanced herself and fixed her gaze upon mine. "May I inquire something from you?" she questioned softly yet gravely. "Certainly," I responded, perceiving the gravity of her query. "Could you tell me your vision for us in the years ahead?" she asked earnestly. I paused to consider my response, feeling a whirlwind of emotions. I envision a life brimming with excitement, mirth, and affection. I aspire to construct something breathtaking with you. I foresaw our growth intertwined, confronting obstacles side by side, and eventually establishing a family. Her eyes gleamed with emotion. "That sounds ideal, David," she replied warmly. "I share that hope." I moved closer, feeling a surge of affection. "If so, let's bring it into existence. Together." As we sat below the stars, the celestial expanse enveloped us like a tranquil embrace, instilling within me a sense of optimism that echoed deep in my soul. Overcoming betrayal's pain, I charted a fresh course and stumbled upon love in an unforeseen manner. With Beverly by my side, I prepared to welcome the future fearlessly, undeterred by whatever it might bring. The remnants of the past no longer dictated my existence. Instead, I was brimming with determination, eager to craft a life that reflected my true self. As the fire gently flickered nearby, I realized this was merely the start, a new tale laden with love, adventure, and glimmers of a more radiant future.